2 Paradigm Review Show, Fallout Season 1 review, Amazon Prime, Walton Goggins, ton of pretty stacked ensemble cast. I was pretty pleased with it. Gaz had his ups and downs. We'll be getting into that. We'll probably just do some light channel news while you guys are kind of filing in. Couple channel news announcements for the weekend show schedule. Obviously, this Fallout Season 1 review. So if you've seen Fallout, tap in with us. Otherwise, give this a check after you see it. Gaz, I did go ahead and add this Powhatan to my
Ooh.
I can't really see the text, but that's
nice.
Alex Pereira, the GOAT of UFC, two-time champ, legendary. So shout out to Powhatan. You could get your merch for Alex over on just head to his Instagram, get the link. Little MMA plug for Fire Pixie. Man, so much going on. So tomorrow, massive PXF True Crime show. A case I've been trying to bring to PXF True Crime for literally years. I'm going to be interviewing Charlie Elliott. You guys might know him on YouTube as American Spy Fox, the American Spy Fox channel. We actually promoted him back in episode 1 of Zodiac Files. Dude is YouTube, I would hesitate to say, even the internet expert on the Kurt Cobain murder conspiracy. Never mind, if the Kurt Cobain murder conspiracy thing is not your thing, I can understand it's not everybody's thing. It does happen to be mine and Charlie's, though. But just as far as basic Nirvana knowledge, Nirvana history, grunge rock history, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. He has a Chris Cornell series on his channel. He has an Alice in Chains series on his channel. He has an extremely interesting Jimi Hendrix series on his channel. That's not grunge rock, but when you find out the mysteries of the Hendrix death and things going on with his manager and record label business, that's kind of a big thing. Me and Gaz used to be into, the artists getting screwed over by their management and record labels. You'll be massively, astounded at how the label screwed over Jimi Hendrix, and all of that is actually before his death. Trying to think of what else he's got over there. He has an extremely interesting Jeffrey Epstein series that has nothing to do with grunge rock or music. So Spy Fox is kind of all over the place. He's a gamer too. I believe he still has his old Spy Fox gaming channel up of some stuff that games he was playing that he was streaming. So just cool dude, drummer, musician, definitely a grunge rock history expert. Even Rolling Stone has had internet articles where they've linked, Charlie's videos to it. Nice. Worked extensively with Tom Grant, who, if you know Nirvana history, I believe it's, what is Grant's website? I think it's CobainReport.com. That's the private eye that Courtney Love hired to, go look for Kurt when he was missing. But anyway, I'm not going to go to the details of any of that stuff now. Just go over to Charlie's series and watch the Nirvana series if you want to know about that. But tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. He's out in Ohio, Midwest time. 4:30 p.m. PST. That's where we're going to be doing the Cobain Conspiracy Files Volume 1 interview with Charlie Elliott of @ the American Spy Fox channel. So go link to that. Still warming up here, folks. Not too many people on with us. We're having a roundtable Zodiac discussion on my friend Jerome's channel Monday. Another time zone flip around the world. He's out in Belgium. So that's going to be 1 p.m. my time. I'll be live. Myself, author Drew Beeson, drewbeesonbooks.com. What up, JBS? Ned DeHaan of Black Box Online Radio. I believe Druzer is joining us. You saw him on my last Zodiac Volume 13 interview. We were talking post-canonical activity. Druzer from Canada will be joining us. He's big on the Zodiac forum. I think that's everybody, right? Drew, me, Druzer, Ned, Jerome. So five-person power panel on Zodiac on the French Wrecking Crew channel. I believe it's, well, we'll get it linked for you in the description regardless. Anyway, it's all in my community post, so go check that out. I also did a dedication post to Howard Davis with my old, he passed away recently, so he was volume 2 of my Zodiac interview series. So if you haven't seen the old interview with Howard Davis, I know everybody doesn't love his suspect and his theory. It's that the Zodiac was Bruce Davis of the Manson family. And, you know, for a lot of people, that's too much case linkage crossover. But what Howard Davis was out of doubt an expert in was Sherry Joe Bates, my episode 3, the Riverside activity. He went down there and interviewed, law enforcement and actually the primaries. We discussed Nikki Benedict. We discussed, me and him were talking a lot about the Hood Garcia unsolved murder up in Santa Barbara, which is something I want to talk to Truzer about on Monday. So I think that about does it for PXF True Crime updates. That's the update for the week. Upcoming things. We have a massive PXF backlog classic, which is Apocalypse Now 4K Final Cut Steelbook. So you guys will get to see what that looks like when I show it to you. It's going to be next week. Gaz and I are nailing down the final because there's a lot going on Saturday. So Gaz and I are nailing down the final schedule. Definitely, it's going to be next week. You'll see it posted in the community tab when you'll see it under the live tab, but as well as the community tab when we get it scheduled. And then I think Terminator. Gaz's favorite movie, also Mac's favorite movie, The Crow 2024 is going to be dropping the 23rd. We're not going to waste a whole lot of time promoting that because we know you guys care, and we definitely the only thing you guys care about is whether we roast it or not. So yeah, obviously you guys know if it comes out and we go to the theater, we're pretty much going to guaranteed roast it. So you don't need to ask us that. But yeah, that's unfortunately coming out in between the week, and then I think Terminator Year Zero the week after, which I think we'll be much more looking forward to, even though it's an animated Netflix series. So what up, Greg? Yeah, Greg, hit me offline, bro. I got an idea. I want to talk to you something true crime related. I have an idea related to a case that you work on, and maybe getting a little crossover with some of the stuff I do. But I don't know. Have you seen it? Yeah, dude, check that out, Greg. It's looks sick, Year man. Zero. I think it's called Year Zero, guys. Yeah. It's going to be on Netflix, Greg. So check out the trailer's out. The trailer's out on YouTube. Just go to the Netflix main channel. So yeah, no, we're big Terminator guys over here. Did I miss anything, guys?
I think that's it. Other than PX, just forget the name of our own channel. The backlog. And which we're updating y'all. We will be looking at various shorts and indie films as well. Again, as always, drop the recommendations in the comments, and we can add them to the list. Language is escaping me at the moment.
Yeah. Guys is our language expert, clearly.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, we're doing Fallout Season 1 today. We'll be getting that as soon as we finish that Terminator Season 1. Maybe get Mac back for that. We'll be doing that as well. And then, I assume that you actually like The Crow 1994, Greg, but I'm going to assume not many people like The Crow 2024. What that brings me to is just some general Hollywood updates. Borderlands, the movie, is out. It's got Kevin Hart, and I don't know, is Dwayne Johnson in that one, guys?
No, he isn't. But I think, oh man, Kevin Hart and is Kate Blanchett possibly in it? I think.
Smart play, yeah. I have you super low, guys. So I'm just gonna turn you up a little bit on my end. But yeah, so it has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. We don't really do a lot of Rotten Tomatoes here, but apparently the rumor is it has a 0% rating. I have a funny one on that, guys, kind of like what that one producer dude was talking about with the Crow remake, and he was like, this isn't a Hollywood production, right? And I was like, yeah, we don't care whether it's a studio film or not, dude. Same situation with Borderlands. Oh, I know, dude. I know. I mean,
yeah, dude sucks.
Hart, but he's not. I mean, I like his comedy, but as far as his movies, that's a totally different story. Like his stand-up is good, but
that's how I am on comedy. Fine, but his movies,
acting, his acting sus. But this dude comes out this week who did like special effects, whatever, for Borderlands, and he was like, "Dude, we were making an R-rated movie. We were blowing people's heads off with the VXFs and the VFXs." The video special effects, and we were blowing people's heads off with the video effects, and we were making an R-rated movie. And I'm like, that's a cool story, bro. You know what the studio did with that? They took everything that you guys made, and then they did what they always do, which is whittle it down to PG-13, and then they wonder why it comes out with a 0%. Now, I'm not saying it would be a good movie either way, but Deadpool and Wolverine just got highest opening R-rated film of all time. I think it beat, the first two Deadpools, and then I think Joker is somewhere in the mix, but they're like top 3. So maybe if you kept the R rating, people would have gave your movie a chance. But now that you whittled it down to PG-13 trash, you're like, I have no idea why it's got a 0, guys. You know what I mean? It's like, well, because it wasn't going to be good anyway, and then you made it PG-13. That's why it has a 0, you know?
Exactly.
I love when no disrespect to the crew, I'm sure they're all great guys, but I love when those sideline people try to come out and like make an excuse. Like, remember we talked about this with Venom, guys, and they did the same thing with Suicide Squad 1. They sell us a dark R-rated indie, and then they pair it back to PG-13 trash and wonder why it doesn't do well. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. It distorts the original vision. It distorts the history and lore of that work as well. And that's it, 100 exactly. And
garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much, I think that's pretty much everything. The only other thing I wanted to discuss, I wanted to bring up a couple things on Deadpool and Wolverine, just real quick before we get into this review. Not necessarily about that, but just, surrounding things. So one thing is, major missed opportunity with not having any Punisher cameo. You know what I mean? Where was Thomas Jane? Like, the big thing about Deadpool and Wolverine was like, you know what I even thought about? I was like, okay, Thomas Jane would have been dope because he wanted to get back in the role. He did that, what was it called? Dirty Laundry. He did that sick short film on YouTube with Ron Perlman, which was fire. So I was like, once they, like me and Gaz said, once they brought out Blade, brought out Gambit, who had never even had a movie, I'm like, okay, gotta have one of the Punishers. Obviously, it's not going to be Ray Stevenson. Rest in peace. I thought Ray Stevenson was fire. I thought Punisher was fire. But you know what I mean? Yeah. See, that's my point, Greg. They had his rocket launcher. They're like, "Where'd you get that rocket launcher?" It was from the Punisher. But yet then you don't have any Punisher cameo in the movie. And let's go down the list of active actors who have played Punisher that are currently alive. Thomas Jane. John Bernthal is the Punisher in the TV universe. Dolph Lundgren's still alive. See, first I thought of Thomas Jane, Gaz, but then I was like, they're making a big deal about Blade, about Wesley Snipes playing Blade in 98. Well, Dolph Lundgren played Punisher, was it 89 or 90, Gaz? So.
Yeah. Well, Greg's just said, I bet Jane wanted too much money. Okay, well, maybe. Maybe. We don't know that. I'm going more along like this. It's not fitting with the MCU's comedy target audience, because I think Deadpool Wolverine is one of the most overrated movies of all time. I gave it 2.5 out of 10. It's a terrible movie. It's about as funny as a chap backside, to be honest. First two are so much better. The second one's the best. And if it didn't have the comedy in, this wouldn't be in the MCU. There's no way they would do it. So that's my take on probably why you not going to see the Punisher unless they do kind of a kindergarten version with him maybe doing a side routine and stand up or something on why his bullets are not quite on point, maybe, or something.
I totally get Gaz's point. I mean,
I'm just miserable.
You don't have to agree with him, but Gaz's point.
No.
But I was thinking, that's what I was just talking about. I think it was called Dirty Laundry, Greg. But you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, dude, Nash is the Russian. There's been a lot about Nash as the Russian. Nash also played Super Shredder in Ninja Turtles 1. So I was thinking oh, well, obviously Thomas Jane, because he's the original film universe Punisher, but film universe Punisher, but technically not including Dolph's Punisher, which is produced by Stan Lee. So once I started, I mean, I know Dolph has had health issues and stuff. You could look at Dolph's interviews to see what that's about. I'm not going to go into it here. All the respect in the world to Dolph Lundgren. I think he's the GOAT. But once I started thinking about Thomas Jane, I'm like, dude, if they brought Dolph Punisher back in the Void to play the Punisher, that would have been insane. I get he's way older, but they had Wesley Snipes. He's not a young Blade, So
yeah, they could. Yeah, and that could explain. It could have said, "Look, he's been in the Void all this time."
Yes,
that OG Punisher movie is sick. That one of those scenes where the noose comes above the stairway and takes that guy out. Man, that's awesome.
So I was like, dude, I mean, Dolph is still in shape. He still does action movies. I'm like, I know Marvel is not going to roll out the red carpet for him, like Gaz said, because he doesn't fit into the MCU R-rated, PG-13 mind frame, fartful, as me and Gaz call the fartful pooperverse. But man, the only thing I think that could have had as much impact as the Blade cameo or more is Dolph Lundgren Punisher. Just my opinion, agree or disagree in the chat or below in the comments. And the final point on the fartful pooperverse, because we haven't addressed this on air yet, Gaz. Robert Downey Jr., who is the GOAT actor that everybody likes, they bring him back to play a villain in the same universe that he just anchored as Tony Stark Iron Man for like 40 movies. You can't say that the guy's not a good actor and not that everybody likes him, because those two things are true. But to bring him back as a villain, as a pre-established Doctor Doom, I was
just going to say, is it Doctor Doom by any chance?
Oh, he's Doctor Doom, but he's Victor Vaughn though. He's not the Tony Stark, evil Iron Man. He's Victor Vaughn, but they've already had 2 actors play Doctor Doom by my count. So look at this. Look, Greg doesn't understand. Nobody understands this. Nobody understands this. Like,
They've always had the villain problem, the MCU, as we know. And
exactly.
I remember me, you, and Mac back in the day.
Always had it.
We're always talking about Doctor Doom as well. Saying, right, Doctor Doom.
But when they did use him, it was PG-13, Fantastic Four,
So look, you know where I am with the whole.
I don't think it is. Sorry, real quick. I don't think it is, Greg. Now this is interesting when Stark turns evil into Doom, but from what I heard, he's playing Victor Vaughn, which is
not the recent.
It's a recasting. It makes no sense. If it's Stark to Doom, that's better. But
I remember that storyline they did in the comics a while back, where it was like I guess evil Iron Man struck Doctor Doom.
Yeah, but that's interesting.
Where I am, I don't know about you, Greg. Where I was saying this last week. I'm just tired of the MCU and Marvel movies, man.
Everyone is.
Post Endgame, they're all the same now. Yep. Terrible music, terrible kind of montages with the generic action scenes. They need to go away for quite some time, and then hopefully come back with something fresh and new for once, and have them now, I think, just set on their own universe or whatever, instead of always trying to cross everything over. Just have a story set where it is. And that was my main critique of Deadpool and Wolverine last week. Totally, the comedy is horrible. It's like watching bad stand-up, and it's not just funny. If I want to watch some good stand-up, then let's get Bill Burr on there. But Bill Burr in there. But that's where I am. I'm just, and I'm
it's too much. It's too much. I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. When you find out, they bring the Russo brothers back, right? Who directed Endgame and whatever it was, that other crap one that I forgot the name of, Crapfinity War, as I called it. And then, so I think they're getting 40 million. I don't even know if it's for both films, or it might just be, it's got to be for each film. But then you got to think that's the Russo brothers, so they got to split that 20 each, which only 20 million, Gaz, right? What a ripoff. But Downey Jr. is getting 50 million for both films, Doomsday and Secret Wars, which I have my own title for that I have text you, Gaz, and
you can't think what that is.
So $100 million for both films. Like, you know what happened? They were calling Downey's manager like 20, 30, 40, and when it got past 40, he was like, let me call Robert. For $100 million, of course he's going to do that's fairly easy for him. Pre-established fan base. All of the MCU fans are already Tony Stark Iron Man fans, so he can do no wrong in their eyes. So again, great actor, talented guy, but very desperate move on the sake of Disney. Go ahead, Gus.
Because people are losing interest, as we've said. Greg, Wolverine is awesome. I'm not a Deadpool fan myself. I don't even like him in the books. He grates me, so that's just my personal take there. And honestly, I approached Deadpool, Wolverine with an open mind, not of my pre-existing dislike of the character. It's not the worst film ever. It's just nothing I haven't seen before. And yes, the whole local Marvel con that attended the movie theater all going, hey, this is awesome. I was
it was what I said it was. It's an R-rated movie for kids.
Exactly.
It's CGI action, so it's not like you're going to see bones breaking John Wick or something.
The second one though with Cable, is fire.
Fire.
That's a good movie. And you're right, Greg, because people are losing interest. Disney has got that much money, so they can take the losses. I mean, just do this. We could do a whole other show on this, the whole Star Wars debacle and what's been happening with the countless series there. way too much time. We could probably start a separate channel just for that itself.
Yeah, easily. But let's call it what it is. We got to get into Fallout here, but it's Disney mismanagement. But I was just when they made that announcement, I was like Gaz said earlier, there has been a problem with villains from the start. And what is your solution? Calling the guy who launched the MCU with the original Iron Man 1 origin film and then anchored everything up to Civil War and Endgame and Infinity War to be the villain. And Doctor Doom is not really even one of the most powerful villains that you've even seen, as opposed to Thanos and Apocalypse, who was absolutely abysmal in the X-Men movie. But like Gaz said, like, there's so many good actors, so many villain actors that are known for villain roles that would absolutely kill. Like, dude, you know, you had John Travolta as the villain in Punisher 1. Now, I know he's not what he used to be, but in the 90s, Travolta was one of the biggest names ever. You know what I mean? There's like Nicolas Cage is an Oscar winner. I mean, he was Ghost Rider, so he's probably not going to come back for a villain. But anyway, there's a long list of nominees and very, very talented actors who are well-known villains. You know, I think, you know, like Keanu told him he was all good on the MCU. I think it's kind of what Gaz was saying is like probably a lot of the more talented people are people who take themselves, you know, seriously in action or crime genres. Are like, well, you know, I'm known for being a hard R villain in crime movies. What am I going to go to the MCU for, where they're going to cut my balls off and make me PG-13 and I'm going to be a soft villain? You know, the villain's not going to win because they never win in Marvel. So it's like, I think that's how a lot of the villain actors look at it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be this subpar third-dairy character who's going to be the antithesis to the X-Men, but I'm not really going to do anything in terms of the storyline, you know? Like, maybe I kill one of them, and then there's a million more Marvel heroes they focus on that are going to swarm me in an army because there's 10,000 heroes and like 4 villains that they recycle. You know? It's not very balanced, as Gaz was saying, where the comic books are much more even.
It's like we said, it's got stale, too played out now. We're tired of it. We want, and this is a bit of a problem. Oh God, this could go in a wider area, and we'll have to get on to Fallout. I was just going to say, welcome, Saul. We've got the endless prequels at the moment, the remakes, and doesn't seem to be that much fresh.
I don't know who Saul's talking to, but you're the dork here. You can hop out of the chat if we don't know who you are, fruitcake. Going to Greg. I heard there was a scrapped Ghost Rider scene in Deadpool 3. I think Ryan said he was trying to get it off the ground, but for whatever reason they couldn't afford it funding wise, or they just didn't get they couldn't get Nick Cage back. I think he maybe was interested, but it might have been budgetary. I mean, Ghost Rider is an expensive character, as we know. But like, you remember back, what was that, the Spider-Man animated series, when, like, first of all, I'm not the Spider-Man guy at all, but they had him rolling with Blade, Ghost Rider, and Morbius. I think we were talking about, me and you, Mac, were talking about, that would be the team up movie, all the vigilante, you know, villain guy, or not villains, but anti-heroes, and make it R, you know what I mean?
That would be pretty tight.
Yeah, Keanu's kind of really good at everything, but honestly, I think he's wrapped up in John Wick. Real quick, guys, have you heard about this John Wick sequel series that's supposed to take place between Wick 4 and 5?
No, I hadn't. Is that the one we first heard of, the spin-off?
No, that's the old one. That was the Continental that you and I called the Constipation. But this one, this one is supposed to be a more serious one, where Chad Stahelski, director of John Wick, is directing the pilot. But, you know, honestly, Chad has the franchise rights to Highlander, and then what was the other thing he was working on? I think something else too. So, like, a lot of us are like, hey, it's good, but we'd rather just see the Highlander at this point. Like, John Wick's, the films are already good. Like, how many TV series do we need? Like, we're going to cover Fallout and, you know, maybe some of this other spin-off stuff. My final news of creative stuff that me and Gaz follow, I think I sent you some stuff on it back in the day, guys. Evil Dead animated series, possibly post-apocalyptic, Bruce Campbell voicing Ash. So we can leave it at that. Nice. Even though he retired, I don't mind having him back.
No, that's still a win. That's still a win.
Just like Deadpool said about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine until you're 90. Just squeeze Bruce Willis as Ash until he's 90. You know what I mean? If you can't do live action, just keep the animated and the video games flowing. You know what I mean? But let's get into Fallout, folks. Let us know. Tap in the chat. Did you guys watch Fallout Season 1? What did you think? Me personally, I'm a big Walton Goggins guy. Justified. He's in the Hateful Eight. He was in the Shield back in the day. He was in Vice Presidents with what is the dude's name? Kenny Powers, Danny McBride. So Walton Goggins is the man. When we saw the trailers, I wasn't really sure, guys, because the CGI prosthetic face, and he's got the no nose, so I didn't really know how it was all going to turn out. But Walton Goggins plays Cooper Howard in this. I'll give a little bit of background on him. He basically is an actor that does westerns, and his wife works at Vault Tech. If you've played Fallout or know the Fallout War, you know what the company Vault Tech is, the company that makes the vaults. So that's kind of his connection. I definitely like the directing. A lot of it is Jonathan Nolan, who's Christopher Nolan's brother. I'm a big Nolan Brothers fanboy, guys. I pretty much like all of Chris Nolan's stuff and the Nolan Brothers stuff. I pretty much like all their stuff. So pretty hard for me to nitpick this one. It's not perfect. It does have issues. I thought this was one of the better video game adaptations, guys, because the hard R violence, the grindhouse action sequences, and kept true to the Fallout bullet time with the slow-mo death kills and stuff like that. So a lot of details struck out to me, but we could just get into general thoughts, Gaz, or your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I had reservations at first. I'd heard a lot of bad things about it. People saying, look, it's really woke, it's bad. I didn't think it was actually.
Agreed.
As we'll get into it,
it's more grindhouse than
there's a lot of things I liked, a lot I didn't. It's not the best series ever, but it's still worth a watch. There's a lot of good, authentic throwbacks to the games, even in the last episode, right at the end, the final kind of scene. Think that rightly hints at Fallout New Vegas.
Yep, correct.
Something caught my attention what we saw, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, the opening is quite funny, man. The opening, literally when it's in the vault, just like in the games where I couldn't wait to get out of the vault. That's where I was with this. I was like, man, I just want to get out of here. But I think it does do the authenticity well, even with the Pit Boys.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, all the vault tech, all the Fallout technology, it's all present. I have some notes, people, so we can give you some breakdowns. Episode 1, The End, directed by Jonathan Nolan. 2077, actor Cooper Howard and his daughter Janie are caught in the middle of a nuclear attack against Los Angeles. 219 years later, Vault 33 dweller Lucy MacLean volunteers for an arranged marriage with a dweller from Vault 32, which is connected to 33 along with Vault 31. After the wedding, the Vault 32 visitors are revealed to, we're going to spoil this, revealed to be raiders led by Lee Moldiver. I thought she was a pretty strong villain, Gaz, certainly stronger than the MCU, which isn't a super high standard, but certainly stronger than that. Lucy's father and overseer of Vault 33, Hank MacLean, is forced to leave with them. In defiance of Vault regulations, Lucy decides to go on the surface by herself to search for her father. Meanwhile, Brotherhood of Steel aspirant Maximus is promoted to the rank of squire and joins Knight Titus in hunting for a member of the Enclave. Elsewhere, several bounty hunters locate Cooper, who has been transformed by radiation into a ghoul, and attempt to recruit him to find the same Enclave member. Instead, the ghoul kills them and pursues the bounty alone. I think we both have the same opinion of what the best scene in this episode was, Gaz. It was the ghoul shootout at the end.
Yeah.
Which Ghoul's introduction was sick. I mean, he was my favorite character. I think it was your favorite character.
Yeah, honest, a theme that I'll say it now. Anything with Kruger Eastwood, as I was calling him, Ross would talk about it, absolutely steals the show. Actor is superb, really interesting character, his backstory as well. Whenever it's in the vault around the central female protagonist, kind of not so gripping. I mean, she's not terrible, but she's not great either. It becomes where you just, she's a bit forgettable. And it's the same, sadly, with the dude from the Brotherhood of Steel as well, who, in my opinion, I'm a bit disappointed that should have been the other standout character because they're super interested in the games. Yep. But Kruger Eastwood absolutely steals the show.
Yeah, I have a take on that as well. Like, I don't think like Lizzie was like a particularly like terrible actress. Like, I thought she pulled off what was needed for the role. Yeah. But as Gaz said, it's not an overly particularly interesting character.
Yeah, that's it. So
that's kind of the way it's written. I think she was, I would even maybe argue, a better actress than that character is interesting. Maximus, you could take him or leave him. I don't, you know, they do this a lot with the, hey, we're going to give you the young up and coming guy. I don't necessarily understand why we're stuck with a squire who's not even a knight. You know, if they stick with the Brotherhood storyline, you know, in season 2, I would like us to get, you know, like a knight captain or someone whose nails like a battle hardened Brotherhood of Steel. And, you know, maybe he believes in the cause of the Brotherhood, which is not necessarily a, an ethical cause. But I think that would be a more interesting, you know, character arc than Max's, which kind of flounders, you know, until he finds his way towards the end of the season with the relationship with Lizzie.
Yeah, totally agreed. There is some other interesting cameos from actors that do appear in the series as well. I'm going to give a spoiler away on one. Matt Berry, for those that may have watched the comedy horror series What We Do in the Shadows, Matt Berry is one of the ancient elder vampires in that show.
That show's
oh, it's hilarious, man. And he voices Mr. Handy, and you actually do get a flashback to him when he's human talking to Coop, who, spoiler alert, is the guy who's kind of like the ghoul Clint Eastwood character.
Yeah.
And again, absolutely hilarious. So that was nice to see. I did think, Ross, that, to be honest, I think that's one of the strong points of the series. The acting as a whole, as you said, I think is pretty solid across the board.
I agree.
Even if some of the writing, like you said, on Lucy's character, where her acting is far better than the character, and the character isn't terrible. It's just not that interesting.
I mean, if you've played any of the Fallout games, like, you generally start as a vault dweller, you generally go out in the wasteland. So it was kind of a predictable line for them to take. Yeah. But it's like, for those of us who've played 3 or 4 games, like, we're very used to that. Also, Hank, I'm totally spacing. What is this actor's name, Gaz? I think his last name is McLaughlin, I believe.
Yeah, we're getting that right now.
He's the dude from Twin Peaks. So if you guys have seen the Twin Peaks stuff back in the day, he's an FBI agent. Yeah, he's like a massive. He's also Paul Muad'Dib in the original David Lynch Dune. I'm just gonna Google it.
Hey, it works, man. I'll just, while you do that, quick shout out to you all. Thanks for stopping by as always, and interaction with us. Greatly appreciated. And hope everyone is having a good weekend. So
Kyle McLaughlin. That guy's. I don't know why I spaced on that dude's name, choked by me. But he's that dude's massive. You know, everybody knows him. He's like old school, you know, 80s, 90s sci-fi.
He was pretty solid, actually. And as when we get to the end episode as well, when you find out about that dude, you're like, man, this guy's pretty grimy.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I'd say casting on point, like the violence, like the editing, the whole stuff of the retro 50s TV screens. And, like, overall, like, I thought they nailed the Fallout universe for the most part. You know, story is a different thing. Like, I think Brotherhood of Steel should have been stronger, as Gaz was saying. But, you know, you kind of see even just that early fight. Now, what was your take on the Raiders being imposters, Gaz? Because I did think it was kind of predictable. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't have any code words or any internal system that only you guys would know to keep Raiders from infiltrating your, you know what I mean? Infiltrating your society. You know what I mean? Didn't seem to make any sense.
Yes, really. So, just we'll come to your comment in a moment, Salsa. Can you tell us why you thought it sucked? You know, what you didn't like? Because I didn't think it was perfect. I have my issues with it. So
maybe he's a PG-13 fan, though. The blood.
Well, I'm giving him the opportunity here. You drop for us what you didn't like, and I might be on the same page as you, man. So let us know, and we'll come to that in a moment. I did think it was pretty predictable at that point, but I think, in fairness, it's a tough one, that, because it's been. I think that's just pretty much been done to be used as an excuse to get Lucy out of the vault and into the wastelands.
I think there was other ways to do it, though, that could have been more realistic.
So what do you think you would have preferred for them to do it? Or would have been an alternative for you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that one's kind of the cliche way to go, right? I think they would have had to been posing as a vault society, but not inside of a vault. You know what I mean? Like they would have had to been outside the vault and be like, hey, we're vault dwellers. Our vault got infiltrated, so we had to leave. So we, to try to get them to open the door. I think that would have made more sense as the arranged marriage. And her dad has, as you were coming to, her dad has all that, outside wasteland experience, and he didn't see that coming, and he's supposed to be the guy with like 200 years of knowledge, so
he's a bit off point there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been around forever, and he didn't see that one coming. Like, come on, give me a break. And he's going to hand over his daughter to that guy. But I mean, that being said, I thought the Raiders were badass. The whole fight between the Raiders and the Vault Dwellers, they play kind of 50s music to the fight montages. I thought it all worked. I thought what they were doing worked. Now, how Lee Moldiver was leading them, from the Enclave, like, again, I thought she did a much better job than, some of her, kind of just, run-of-the-mill guys just being average baddies, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, there's ups and downs, guys. I'm not saying it's the best thing I've ever seen. Like, there's definitely some parts me and Gaz are going to have to roast, but episode 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, folks. Like, again, so whatever you didn't like, drop them in the comments. And then when we get to what we didn't like, we might be on the same page and we can come to that. So definitely let us know. Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out who Saul called a dork, because if he keeps that up, he's going to get booted out of the chat completely. So why don't you stand on business, buddy? So episode 2, The Target. In an Enclave facility, Dr. C.G. Wilzig develops a mysterious blue device before injecting it into his neck. He flees the city with his experimental dog. I like how they had dog in the season.
I like the dog a lot.
Fallout 2. I think dog's in Fallout 1 or 2, right? He's like from way back. In the wasteland, Lucy encounters Wilzig, who urges her to return to Vault 33. Maximus and Titus begin their search and are attacked by a mutant bear. Obviously, Titus is Michael Rapaport. Dude, that guy is so annoying, Gaz. No one can stand that guy. That dude is brutal. So I wasn't very upset to see him die.
No, I don't think most people were either. It's going in those voices everyone loves.
That actually worked, because when it was between, even though we don't love Maximus, when it was between Maximus and Titus, we were like, just please get Michael Rapaport out of this season. So you know what I mean?
I do think the guy playing Maximus, is it Aaron? Sorry if I pronounced this wrong. It's either Aaron or Aaron Morton. I thought he was pretty good in the role. It's just, again, his character is just one of those where you just
the way it was written.
Yeah, you're not too crazy either way.
That's how I felt too. I mean, like I said, I thought he did better towards the end than he was doing at the beginning, when it was just like, where's this guy going? So Titus is wounded, but his mistreatment of Maximus prompts the Squire to let him bleed out before taking the knight's power armor for himself. Lucy reunites with Wilzig in Philly, where he attempts to arrange safe passage to Moldiver. Seeking the bounty, the ghoul attacks him, but is distracted by Maximus, allowing Lucy to escape with Wilzig. A wounded CX-404 is left behind, but the ghoul heals the dog and uses her to track Wilzig. Severely wounded, Wilzig ingests cyanide as he believes he will slow Lucy down, instructing her to deliver his head to Moldiver in exchange for Hank. I think it's this next episode. Let me just see what it says here. I don't remember if that was the Philly fight when he was trying to get the power source for the suit. Is that later on?
I think that's a bit later. I think.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see what the head says. Unless you got to jump in with guys.
Yeah, and the guy. I'm just looking at the guy's name who played Wilzig, because he's the dude from Lost, and he was also in the series with Person of Interest, which was a pretty dope series actually.
I've heard you talk about that.
Just trying to find the guy's name actually. Just give me. Anyway.
We're talking Fallout Season 1 Slipknot, so let us know if you saw it on Scam or on
Because I know what you were going to say.
I got stuck saying it. It's on Amazon Prime.
You thought we were off air then.
If you guys played, right, it's going back to our group chat. If you guys played the games too, feel free to weigh in on those. Like I'm trying to. I think I did finish 3, but it was like way back in the day. But I definitely played 2 a lot before Fallout even became an FPS. And Fallout 4, I thought, was one of the best ones that I played. Obviously, the Boston backdrop was grimy. Where were we? So that was episode 2. So the head. Maximus assumes Titus' identity, and the Brotherhood sends a new squire, former bully Thaddeus, believing Maximus is dead. Lucy is attacked by the Gulper, which swallows Wilzig's head. I got to be real, guys. As much as I wanted the concept of the Gulper to be good, it looked super fruity in CGI. I'm sure you hated that part.
Yeah, it looked super cheesy, actually. Really, really cheesy. I'm sure that was an. I just remember the guy's name who I was trying to think of who was in Lost in Person of Interest. It's Michael Emerson. So there we go. Yeah, that scene. It kind of looked like the kind of cheese you'd get on a burger on the way back home on a late night out. Kind of looked like that coming out of the water.
Yeah, the only thing I liked about this whole Gulper thing was like the ghoul strategy to try to get the head back, because he had like a clever kind of way around it. I won't spoil it. But again, it came down to, I thought Goggins and the ghoul did the best in this episode once again. The whole head thing got a little bit played out, and the Gulper thing, like I said, I wanted it to be good, like in the spirit of like slapstick Fallout humor. I wanted it to be good, but it just I don't know, you guys tell me if I'm right or wrong. It looked a little CGI-y. You know, I get it's the Fallout universe, but the Gulper, like Gaz said, looked like, you know, some Sci-Fi Channel CGI from back in the day.
Rabid Philly cheesesteak on the loose.
Yeah, the mutated Gulper, which swallows Wilzig's head. The ghoul arrives with CX-404, uses Lucy as bait to lure out the Gulper. Whoops, I just spoiled it. But the chems, which maintain his health, are destroyed in the attempt, leaving CX-404 behind. The ghoul departs with Lucy as his prisoner. Maximus and Thaddeus track the head to the same location, defeat the Gulper, recovering the head and taking custody of CX-404. Back in Vault 33, Norm asks the council to execute several capture raiders for murder, but he is rebuffed. In 2077, Cooper becomes a celebrity spokesman for Vault Tech at the encouragement of his wife, a top company executive. We talked about that in the intro. I do really like how Cooper was the face of the thumbs up smiling Fallout Boy, like prototype. Like just the callbacks, you know, I thought it kind of Cooper's, I guess, like origin and history is probably the best thing of this episode, because it's not the Gulper part.
Yeah. Well, this guy, as we were saying, is the standout character in the whole show. He kind of carries the whole thing, both from the flashbacks to present. Yeah, as you find out more about him as well, even that he's, spoiler alert here, folks, that he's connected to the Brotherhood of Steel. We get info on that later, which is dope. I never saw that.
Super interesting.
There's so much more to this guy, and then you might think when you first see him, look, this guy's now being completely corrupted by the wasteland to who he used to be. He's brutal. There's nothing driving him. There's no principles. And I feel when we get to the end, you get a total turnaround. He becomes kind of like the anti-hero.
Yeah, I mean, he has the best story arc. One thing I was going to bring up, Gaz, do you think it hurt the series that instead of focusing on the ghoul, that they kind of split the coverage between the ghoul, Lizzie, and Maximus? You know,
I do, because he had that presence, and it was the most interesting part in the show. And I even feel some of the parts where they're going back to the vault hurt the series, because really the most interesting stuff is when it's not in the vault, and when it's not around Lucy and Maximus wandering through the wastelands. Again, it's not that those characters are absolutely terrible. The actors do a fine job playing them. They're just
that's right.
They're just okay.
Yeah, you can't outplay the way outact the way the story arc is written for you. What else is going to say? Do you have a favorite faction, Gaz, either in the games or in the series?
Yeah, Brotherhood is Steel, but I never used to go for the mech suits. I used to always wear like the more combat armor, and always kind of play as like a stealthy assassin guy with sniper rifles, or get up close and personal. I do that a lot in those kind of games. And then in Fallout 4, the Android faction, who they were pretty interesting.
I joined them in that game. Yeah, at the very end, I switched on the Brotherhood. Got him. All right. So yeah, we talked that one. Where were we? You know what? You know what I did like though? Lizzie's brother, the politics of wanting to execute the raiders. I did enjoy that, because I'm like, dude, these raiders came in and killed 75% of your vault, and now you're gonna say, oh, let's just keep them as prisoners because we don't want to be like them. it's like you almost just lost your entire vault. You know what I mean? Like, draw the line. You got to have. I know that you're vault dwellers and you think that you're honorable, ethical people, but you gotta draw the line.
And I tell you what's good, man, is when he spoiler alert again, folks. I should just say heavy spoilers and all of this. So if you want to avoid the spoilers, watch this after you watch the series. So when he is delivering the food, you know, to the raiders in the cells when they captured, and one of them says to him about Vault 31, and he says, "Look, it was hardly innocent what was going on down there." Just that one line just made I feel his character more interesting, because he was super nerdy. You kind of didn't care either way. But then he starts looking into things like, what's in Vault 31, as we see later. I just feel that one line, the way that did it, kind of gave that guy an arc to expand on, actually gave him something interesting.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. All right, let's go. So that was okay. Episode 4, the ghouls. And another thing I want to point out about Goggins, I do like how they made him a ghoul, because in the game, the ghouls are always very low-level characters. They never really had much development. So by making him a ghoul, it's like you took the smallest character from the game and made them the forefront of the series. I thought that was the right choice, you know? Yeah,
and this is a perfect segue. As Slip's been recommending we collab with that the Western channel. He's recommending. My memory's so awesome, I forgot the name of who they are. Where me and Ross are going to pretend to know what we actually to possess knowledge on Western, so that will be interesting. But anyway,
we're down.
I do. Yeah, I mean, this guy is set up as like pretty much the Clint Eastwood of the Fallout universe. But some of his lines as well is really good. The way he's thinking, even his action scenes. I'm going to have to behave myself until we get to the last episode, but I'll just say the way he engages with the Brotherhood of Steel as well, when you find out, look, this guy is connected to them as well. Sick, man.
He's kind of like the anti-Brotherhood as far as his tactics, and it goes, go into that. And then also, doesn't he, it's kind of a semi-spoiler later on, but doesn't he quote himself from his old movies? Because the dudes kept coming up quoting his movies, and then he did it at the
that's what's hilarious. And it's the way they present it as well. You've got like this 50s kind of idyllic, you know, heaven-esque society. Everything's great, you know, prosperous, blah blah blah. And it's like one of those shows where you know there's something behind the background. You know there's something sinister going on, and of course we find out more about Coop's wife, and you're like, man, what a sobering that thought must be when you find out the woman you love is pretty evil, to be honest.
I mean, as far as that writing, like, I would say that was very good writing. Like, everything's not perfect, but certain characters are done better than others. So, episode 4, the ghouls. In Vault 33, Norm becomes suspicious after an exchange with a Captain Raider. I think that's what Gaz was referring to. Him and Chet explore Vault 32, discover that residents died 2 years prior as a consequence of infighting, that someone used his deceased mother, Rose's pit boy, to let the Raiders in. The ghoul encounters his friend, Roger, a ghoul on the brink of going feral. He kills Roger. He cannibalizes him in front of Lucy. The ghoul takes Lucy to an abandoned supermarket. He trades her to a gang of organ harvesters for replacement chems, but collapses before the trade is complete. About to be cut open, Lucy fights back and frees the captive ghouls held by the harvesters. The feral ghouls attack her and the gang, and Lucy is forced to kill for the first time. She leaves, but not before giving the ghoul the chems he needs. Oh, dude, I forgot about that one. You know, I actually thought that was pretty sick with the feral ghouls, because they were like, you know, it's like a zombie element, you know?
Yeah, and it's where you learn that they're having to, like his friend who Coop killed, that they have to take that serum to stop them going completely feral. I need to behave until we get to this part.
I forgot about that element too. So actually, there, you know, even though this might not have been like the most exciting fighting action, you know, combat sequence, like as far as like plot elements, and then that whole thing with the feral ghouls, and Lucy was like trying to reason with it, right? She was trying to talk to it, or at least that one girl that feral ghoul could semi-communicate. But that was, I thought that expanded on Fallout lore quite a bit. I was pretty impressed, at least with that aspect, you know?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Even the kind of 2 stoner dudes that are running the whole operation now, just out there watching like these old school TV shows. That was funny. I think this is where we're introduced to Mr. Handy, who is voiced by Matt Berry, and that was it is because
he's the organ harvest robot, right?
Yeah, because when she, Lucy here is still pretty innocent, and she says, "Oh, I was accompanied by a ghoul, who treated me terribly, blah 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 blah," and I thought I was gonna be a sex slave, and of course Mr. Handy then turns around and goes, "No, nothing of that. I'm just going to harvest your organs."
Yeah. He went to saw her, right, and then his batteries died or whatever. There's some good Fallout comedy there. Me and Gaz need to get Horizon going if we can find out what Digi rental, because we don't care what the critics said, so we're going to actually give you guys the uncut review of that. Episode 5, The Past. Maximus confesses his true identity to Thaddeus. Disgusted, Thaddeus disables. Okay, this is the one I was thinking about. So there's going to be a roast coming up here, guys. Thaddeus disables maximum power armor. Maximum power armor. Thaddeus disables. I'm like Gaz here. I can't talk. Maximus's power armor and leaves with Wilzig's head in CX-404. Lucy finds Maximus. They agree to work together to treat the head. The pair stumble upon the ruins of Shady Sands, a once thriving post-war city that has the capital of the prosperous NCR, New California Republic, and Maximus's former home in their pursuit. Maximus is injured by a cannibalistic fiend, and while searching for medical supplies in an abandoned Vault-Tec building, the two accidentally fall into Vault 4. Back in Vault 33, Council President Betty Pearson is elected as overseer by a 98 majority. Norm hacks Vault 32 central computer and finds that every overseer of Vaults 32 and 31 originally came from Vault 32 and 33 originally came from Vault 31, including his father. Betty orders that Vault 32 be repopulated by 33 once cleared of deceased dwellers. Okay, so that, I believe it's, just make sure it's that one. That big fight outside, that big shootout, I think that's this one, right? In the in Shady Sands, or is it the next one? When the fool shows up at that big fight.
I think it's the next one, and I think it is. Hang on.
It didn't say it there. Let me see what this is.
Are you on about the fight where they come across the radio tower?
Possibly. I'm trying not to give away something really stupid that happens with the power suit, and I think you know what I'm referring to.
Oh, it is this episode.
Okay.
So,
yes. So there's a massive fight with raiders in Shady Sands or Philly or whatever when they're trying to steal Maximus's power suit. The fight is actually sick in terms of combat and the kills. The ghoul shows up, which usually makes the fight better. Unfortunately, when the power suit starts flying around with the chain attached to it, it looks like complete CGI trash. And people were definitely roasting that on Twitter and on the internet. Like, what the hell is Fallout doing? You know what I mean? Like, that was probably one of the stupidest things they did in the season. But other than that, the fight was sick. It was totally unnecessary to have the suit flying around on the jetpack with the chain on it. That whole sequence was very stupid. It warrants a roast.
Yeah, that part does remind me of literally arriving in those wastelands towns in the games. Even the exchanges with the traders, like having that humorous dialogue, the way they would speak to your characters. So I thought they nailed that 100.
Agreed.
The Brotherhood of Steel to me have always looked like 40k Space Marines. You know, the way they walk, the armor and everything.
Clunky.
As they call them, like great big armored fridges. But that's the only. Yeah, that part is pretty cheesy. That's one of the few, I guess, bad parts in the combat in the whole series.
Yeah, that was the low light of Fallout combat in this season. It was just unnecessary. Like the way they wrote that, they're like, it was like Marvel-esque humor. Like, oh, dude, you Fallout fans are gonna think this is hilarious. It's like, bro, it's a hard R post-apocalyptic grindhouse series. Like it, and I know Fallout has the slapstick, dialogue like Gaz was just saying, but every fight doesn't need to be a CGI mess. You know what I'm saying? What up, Red Cloud? What's poppin'? Shout out to everybody who just came through. Let us know if you've seen Fallout Season 1, what you thought of it. So that was that. So episode
5, haven't we? 5, The Past.
No, we're on 6. We just did 5. So
right, okay, my
Lucy and it's all good. Me and Gaz can't count. It's PXF. Lucy and the Trap. Lucy and Maximus are greeted by Birdie, a Shady Sand survivor, and Ben, the Vault 4 overseer. They explain that Vault 4 has opened itself to the surface, taking in many refugees from Shady Sands and the surrounding area. While Maximus slowly acclimates to the Vault, Lucy is horrified over the refugees' eccentric rituals and worship of Moldiver as the Flame Mother. Howard wakes up to find an armed posse has arrested him for past crimes. He stalls for time to regain strength and then easily overpowers and kills them. Convinced that Vault 4 is hiding something, Lucy ventures to the forbidden level 12. She uncovers human experiments before getting caught, but it's explained to her that Vault 4 citizens fought back against these scientists and now live in peace. Pre-war, Cooper becomes conflicted over the secrecy of Barb's association with Vault Tech. He's invited to covert meeting to discuss the conspiracy behind Vault Tech, hosted by a younger Moldiver. So as Gaz was saying, a lot of it revolves around Cooper's callbacks to his past pre-war. Walton Goggins is a great actor. Used to watch him in The Shield. We talked about that earlier.
Shield was awesome.
What's your favorite band? Do you have a 45-minute diatribe, Red Clyde?
yeah. List some genres for us, and I'll drop some in the chat, because seriously, if I do it now, that's it. The show's. I will answer. Don't worry.
We can give them the top 3 or top 5. It's up to you, bro. I don't care.
All right, Crust Punk, Nuclear Death Terror, originally from Denmark, now in Australia. War Victims, Raw D-Beat, Black Cloud, a dude I interviewed on the channel. Shout out to Dustin. He does a one-man sludge doom band. Absolutely. Oh, Brutal Death Metal. Oh, man. Oh, God, man. Oh, I'll be here. All right, man. Brutal Death. Oh, man. There's so many. Man. Ingested, of course. Blunt Force Trauma from Japan. I know they haven't been active for a while. Oh, man. God, man, so many. Ross, go on a bit. I'm just actually gonna
tag you in
some promos that I was sent recently for my on the Hold Metal shows, and
use a lifeline. Use a lifeline.
Yeah, because there's so many. My brain is getting so hyper, and I'm like, man, but Brutal Death, man, Brutal Slamming Death, particularly. If you're gonna go in death metal, man, Brutal Slamming Death Metal, particularly my fave. Oh God, yeah, man. But it's the sickness and heavy of it. It's the riffs. I know everyone says about the or the frog sounds, man, but that stuff just is so grimy. It gets me every time. And I've just realized I've completely overtaken the show and got us off point here.
He's not going to ask me my favorite bands, because I'm just a lowly grunge fan. I'm just a lowly 90s
yeah. It's like
not on the level of you.
I'm gonna drop some in the chat for you. And multitask just so we can get back on Fallout, but I am going to answer and drop some in for you.
But since we're talking music, go ahead and tap in with me and Charlie Elliott at American Spy Fox channel tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get that plugged, man. We'll
be talking Nirvana history, Alice in Chains history, Soundgarden history, 90s grunge, Kurt Cobain, murder conspiracy. Wait, who just got me? Damn it!
NSYNC. Yeah, you got him, man. It's NSYNC all day.
Like that. You're gonna do me that. First of all, NSYNC's not a band, so that's my rebuttal out of that. Gaz would lose his mind on you for calling NSYNC a band, but they don't even play instruments. You know what I mean? All right. Thanks for devolving in the show. I hope you guys are enjoying the Fallout Season 1 review. All right, that's our audience. We rock with them. All right, Episode 7, The Radio. Residents of... Oh, wait, real quick, guys. Did it drive you insane when that Vault 4 cult was worshiping the cult with the nude orgies? I'm sure you found that boring and obnoxious, right?
Yeah, it was. At first, I thought it was going to be what sort of the cult in the games is it? The Atomic Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I think they were going to go down that, but then I thought that was just a typical cult that we haven't seen before. And Necrotic Gore Beast, they're awesome from Quebec. The dude who asked me one of my favorite bands were. They're awesome. That's just mentally appeared in my head again.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I thought it built the tension. It gave context to the universe. I mean, the only problem is now they can't go back to another vault and show another cult, right? Because they already did it. So, but it worked once. I'll say it worked once, in my opinion. You guys can disagree in the chat, in the comments. The radio, residents of Vault 4 gather. I think this is what Gaz was talking about. Residents of Vault 4 gather as Lucy is prepped for expulsion from the vault. Maximus leaves with her after a brief conflict with the vault residents. Lucy invites Maximum to live with her in Vault 33. Thaddeus avenge CX-404 makes contact with the Brotherhood. Lucy and Maximus eventually kept up with Thaddeus. After learning that he is turning into a ghoul for which the Brotherhood would put him to death, Thaddeus relinquishes the head. Lucy continues her journey alone while Maximus stays behind to distract the Brotherhood. Norm secretly breaks into Vault 31. Meanwhile, the ghoul, having determined Moldiver's location, reunites with CX-404, renaming her Dogmeat. In 2077, a younger Moldiver, then named Miss Williams, reveals that the war-profiting conglomerate behind the Vault-Tech shelved her cold fusion research, despite its potential to provide unlimited energy and prevent war with China over dwindling oil resources. She persuades Howard that he cannot trust his wife and should record all of his conversations with the company board. Wow, you know what, Gaz? I missed that. Well, if I did catch it, I forgot that they shelved her cold fusion tech. That actually makes the next episode much more interesting, the way it ended, as you were saying. Because it has a full circle callback. Wow, that's highly interesting. That's one of the better story arcs, I would say. Your man Slipknot is on you. He's bringing all female Japanese death metal grindcore Flagitius.
Yeah, they're a fantastic band. I get sent the stuff in their the promos. There's one I'm really trying to behave myself because there was one I recently was sent on Go House Productions, who have a new album coming out soon, Brutal Death Slam, 6 stuff. But this is like how all the true crime just flies over my head. Like I watch the Zodiac Files and I've got a migraine because I don't know any of this.
Brain exploding from.
This is probably how Ross feels now when I'm naming all these bands. And like Ross is like, "What the hell is going on?"
No, I like metal. I listen to everything.
I forget you heard my shows back in the day.
Don't worry about Ross's show. He's just trying to do his job, guys. Feel free to have metal chat. It's all good.
Literally Fallout.
But no, man, I really like. I like Moldiver's origin even more now. She was Miss Williams and that whole I mean the cold fusion thing. That's always just an interesting theme in any sci-fi.
The good thing about that, Ross, is at first, she is this imposing villain. And I think she does stand out, and then you find out about her motivations that actually. She, with the NCR, they were quite a cool faction in the game.
Yeah, I agree. They're one of my favorites.
That she isn't as evil as she's portrayed. Yeah, Critopsy. Definitely.
Her origin, as you said, Gaz, is the hero, as opposed to Hank. He really becomes the villain. So would you say that they kind of swap, alignments?
Yeah,
she's starting out doing the good thing, is made out to be the bad guy because she's the one breaking into the vaults, but she's doing it because they shut down her technology. Like it's very Shakespearean, playing with the good and evil. Well, everybody, including Epic Freestyle King, knows that Goggins is just crazy epic actor.
It's totally. Well, I liked that how they did that switch because it shows you that she's not just a standard villain. She's got her motivations, which are actually very honourable and
more nuanced origin.
Yeah. And as we get to this, because I'm trying to behave myself for now,
I'll let you guys go crazy once we get past episode 8. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, when we find, I'll just say when we
do whatever you want.
I'll wait till we get to the last episode. All the mention of Brutal Mosh has just sent me hyper and has got me amped up, man. If someone starts mentioning really grimy underground hip hop, I'm going to be the same.
You guys have thrown off the show. I'm going to have to get rid of Gaz and bring in like an NSYNC like b-boy fan. To, like, okay, dude. So we're in the middle of an R-rated Grindhouse review. Tell us about the Backstreet Boys. Anyway, this show has been going well. Shout out to everybody that came through. Episode 8. Don't worry, you guys won't be stuck with us for much longer. The beginning. Lucy and Norm independently learn the truth of war, while the ghoul also reminisces about that truth. Pre-war, Cooper eavesdrops on Barb and her colleague, Bud Askins, to his horror, learning that they're explicitly managing Vault-Tech's plans to start a nuclear war to eliminate its competitors. Cooper also meets young Betty Pearson and Hank McLean. Norm discovers Vault 31 contains the cryogenically stored junior executives of Vault-Tech, overseen by the cyborg brain on wheels of Bud, who traps Norm in Vault 31. Lucy turns the head over to Moldaver, who reveals that Rose had fled Vault 33 with her children years earlier. And these were the big reveals here. Guys, it's spoilers, so just mute if you need to while we discuss this. Hank tracked her down and was responsible for the nuclear bombing of Shady Sands, turning Rose into a feral ghoul. Maximus is forgiven by the Brotherhood and joins the battle against Moldiver's forces. Lucy convinces Hank to give Moldiver the code, activating her cold fusion reactor. Maximus frees Lucy's father, but attacks him after learning Hank's role in the Shady Sands destruction. Lucy disowns Hank for his actions after he attacks Maximus. The ghoul, believing his family might still be alive, invites Lucy to travel with him and Dogmeat to find Vault-Tech's leaders. Lucy kills Rose and takes the ghoul up on his offer. Moldiver activates the fusion reactor, powering Los Angeles just before she dies from her wounds. The Brotherhood forces assume that Maximus is responsible for Moldiver's death and acclaim him as Knight Maximus. Hank, the final scene that Gaz mentioned, Hank flees to the remains of New Vegas, and I actually didn't ever get to play New Vegas, but I know that it's basically the highest reviewed Fallout game from what I've heard. So maybe when it goes on sale, I'll grab it and throw it on my Steam library. I've heard it's epic, but you could tell me, guys.
It's pretty sick. It's more really, it should be called Fallout the NCR edition, and it is pretty sick. You've got
I like the NCR stuff.
Yeah, so it's pretty decent. It's worth a playthrough.
Hell yeah! But we could do ratings, guys. We could kind of wrap up, and guys, just chime in whatever you got in the chat. How'd you like it, JVS? Did you play 2, 3, and 4, or how far did you get, as well as New Vegas? I'll pull up Fallout IMDb.
I even got up to Fallout 76, which is supposed to be much better since they've added new stuff. But
I've heard that as well.
That was the only one I fell out of love with, where I was like,
I wanted us to play that because I wanted you, and Mac to finally get to play multiplayer, because we've all been playing Fallout our whole lives, and I thought, dude, that'll be the chance for us three to finally combine our post-apocalyptic video game knowledge. So right now, ratings, and this was the IMDb synopsis as well. In a future post-apocalyptic Los Angeles brought about by nuclear decimation, citizens must live in underground bunkers to protect themselves from radiation, mutants, and bandits. What were we saying, guys?
I was just going to say, is there anything else that we maybe want to cover on the last episode that we forgot just before?
Was there a secret scene, or I pretty much what did I miss? If you have anything else,
not really. I guess you find out again. Man, it's all the metal chat's got me so off topic. The cold fusion.
Yeah, Moldaver. Yeah.
Moldaver.
I said that in the stop.
Yeah, you did, and we found out what happened to Ben Sands. Right. Sorry. I'm just double checking. All good.
Yeah, I really liked the ending. I don't know, what was your favorite episode? Did you have one, guys? Did you think?
Yeah. I actually, there was a couple of standouts. The last episode is definitely one of my favorites, just because I like the whole switch where Freddy Krueger Eastwood kind of becomes the anti-hero, aka Coop.
Fighting back.
Moldiver, or is it Moldiver?
Moldiver. I've forgotten how they pronounced it.
Yeah, I just probably butchered that.
Moldiver, I'm probably saying it wrong.
Yeah, I think she gets a shine. The scene, spoiler alert, where you've got Coop. It's a bit before this, where he takes out the Brotherhood of Steel in the corridor, where he points.
We did miss that. Yeah. There's so Cooper, from his knowledge, as Gaz said, he knows about the weak spot on the Brotherhood of Steel suits.
Yeah.
So he basically kills them with some absolutely sick ricochet kill shots that go right under the chest plate. Pretty sick action sequence on the way up to the cold fusion explosion. Cooper cuts off the lights, and then he basically blazes through the Brotherhood suits. They can't hit him in the dark.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anything else you want to add, guys?
Yeah, no, I just thought that was absolutely
sick fight. Nails.
It was sick. I like the turnaround, what they did to the characters. They said Coop becomes the anti-hero, Moldiva. Yeah. We find out
her and Hank switch, kind of.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was good writing. That was really good writing.
Yeah.
Really
and actually, one of the other favorite episodes of mine was the flashback to Coop back in the day, where you find out, his wife is in on that meeting with all of them at Vault-Tech.
When he bugs her.
Yeah,
that was good too. the show did hit, for what it missed in the kind of the intro episodes, like we said, it was able to reconnect everything and kind of, hit it out of the park with a good shot in the last episode. You know what I mean? At least I thought, and I watched it when it came out. And then
it sets it up, man. It definitely sets up for more for season 2, which I think we'll see some creatures from the wastelands, because you only see a few. You see the cockroaches, the Philly cheesesteak monster,
the ghouls, the gulper.
Yeah, so I think you'll see more of that. I do like as you mentioned, the way one of the last shots and the way the camera pans out on this, where you have Hank approaching what definitely looks like New Vegas, and I recognized it from the games because you see the tower at the top, and I thought, oh man, yeah, this is from New Vegas. That I liked. Even the guy who runs the radio station, and and he's playing all the old fiddle music. That kind of reminded me from Fallout 3 of the dude who was on the radio playing like all the super old school music.
I think they have. I think that's in every game. So what was the first one? Was 3 the first game you played?
3 was the first one. Then Fallout 4. Then Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. Well, Fallout 3 and all the expansions.
I want to say they had that in 2, and I watched like a friend of mine play 1, so I didn't really play that myself. But that was sick. But anyway, I think we get into our ratings, Gaz. Fallout currently has an 8.4 out of 10 on Amazon. I gave it an 8. I know Gaz was a bit lower than me. I mean, pacing wise, there was ups and downs. I just thought grindhouse action on point, R-rated, kill scenes. It had the blood. It has everything that the MCU doesn't have as far as action and just grimy, sequences. CGI gets a little bit, over the line in times with the gulper and that stupid flying steel suit, but nothing unforgivable. I mean, I think they could definitely, like Gaz said, if they tightened everything up in season 2, made it hardcore New Vegas, add some new villains, add some new characters, and maybe don't spend so much time on Lizzie and Maximus's romance story, which once again, we got a romance story action series, which I've been bringing this up in the past few shows. Whatever, it's cliche, but if they focus more on the ghoul, focus more on Hank, and just bring some hardcore New Vegas, I think season 2 could even be better, So
Yeah, definitely. For me, I'm about a 7. Like it's not. I'll be real with you, folks. I had reservations going into this. I'd heard a lot about it. People say, "All right, man, this it's woke, it's whack." It's actually pretty decent. Look, is it the best thing ever? No, it's not. They do a good job of representing the Fallout universe. I didn't think it was woke. The best character certainly is Coop. Absolutely steals the show. Definitely red, but I'm having to stay on topic here, or I'll derail the show even further. But all day, man, all day, sure. Lucy and Maximus aren't the worst characters ever. The acting is good in this show. I do feel the acting stands out. Even it's a minor character in the vault. I forget the dude's name, but when they go in to elect the new vault leader, and you find out a lot of it's preordained. And this guy, I remember he has a mustache, and I'm sure I've seen him in something else. He's actually, even for a minor part, he was a pretty good actor.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, he was pretty good
stuff in there.
So I would recommend it's worth a watch, especially if you're a fan of Fallout. It's not the best series ever, but it's not terrible. I certainly enjoyed this more than Deadpool 3. I mean, Deadpool Wolverine.
The kills of this were way crazier than a lot of stuff, They don't hold back on like that Fallout when you're playing Fallout 4.
Well, here's one for you, which they could even do. I think it's Fallout 3. One of the DLCs was the pit, and when I went to the city, and it was kind of like they were forcing people to fight literally in a pit. It was real grindhouse, real grimy stuff. That could even be done in a future season.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's 5 games, 6, 7 games. There's plenty to draw from.
There's enough to build upon. Gears of War was sick as well.
Gears of War is great. That movie has been rumored for years.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? But I don't know. I was wondering if this was the best video game adaptation, Gaz, because have you ever seen a good one? Video game adaptations are not known for being good. I mean, I didn't see the Sonic movies. Those did very well. I've seen all the Mario Brothers stuff.
Sonic,
Resident Evil's butt. So names.
Resi was, but Sonic wasn't bad, to be fair. Okay, I know it's not R-rated, but to be faithful to Sonic, the movie was, but I did like this scene was Assassin's Creed where they were running. Oh, Mortal Butt Bat.
Ooh, I don't know. Are any of those good? I guess the first one's okay.
The new one, the beginning and end. That's it. That's it with those.
Assassin's Creed got roasted, Gaz. Though you don't want to bring that up as your good.
Well,
one.
it's a whack movie, but there is a scene where it flashes back to the Spanish Inquisition, and you see them running across the tops. That is the only good thing in a movie. That's it. Just that one scene. It's very much like. I may have to put this on PXF Classics, actually. District 13, which later got remade as Brick Mansions with RZA.
Yeah, District B13.
Those movies are sick. Y'all check out District 13 and Brick Mansions with RZA. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was just wondering, like, it seemed like this was the most accurate, video game adaptation.
Oh, I think so. I think it's the best one we've had so far.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's in a genre where they're very, very bad. Outside of Mortal Kombat 1, I mean, maybe some of the animated stuff's better, like the animated Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, agreed. The animated Mortal Kombat movies are good. That one they did on Scorpion was pretty sick.
I mean, Street Fighter. Did you guys like Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme? We might have to have that as a PXF.
This nearly made me choke.
We might have that as a PXF roast classic, and then Mario Brothers 1993. The Gears of War movie that I heard, it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. I never heard like.
Didn't Street Fighter have one of your most favorite scenes from movie history ever? Where I think is it Van Damme turns Blanca's hand up into a thumb like that.
It had several of my favorite scenes ever, and just
could you imagine that? Could you imagine that happening in battle rap? In around literally 10 years. Just go the end of good guy's pass.
Street Fighter. Oh my God! This is a perfect time to bring this up. So I think it's PC Gamer right now on Twitter. They're journalists. He has a headline about his Borderlands review, and he's like I forget. Let me see if I find it. He's like, Borderlands was so bad that it had me longing for 1993 Mario Brothers.
Man.
So if that dude is literally saying that Super Mario Bros. From 1993 is better than Borderlands, I don't know what to say about that, bro. That's absolutely hilarious.
Whoa.
Go ahead, guys.
I was going to say, I've only ever seen it once, but didn't Mark Dacascos, wasn't he in the Double Dragon movie?
I've never seen it. I think Max said he was. Yeah, I've never seen it. I've never seen Double Dragon. Wall Street. We should watch that. I'd be interested just to see how that pans. Just see how it pans out.
I've just got this mental image now, and I'm never going to watch battle rap the same of someone just turning up the other dudes.
Yeah,
like that. The end of a round.
That's crazy. All right, guys, we'll do our final shouts. That's Fallout Season 1. Check it out on Amazon Prime if you haven't seen it. I thought it was pretty sick. Action was crazy. Definitely some wild kills, R-rated violence, grindhouse. If that's your thing. If you don't like post-apocalyptic action, that's cool. You know what I mean? There's plenty of you know what I mean, dating shows and real estate shows on Netflix for you. So final schedule for the weekend. I'm live tomorrow with American Spy Fox, 4:30 p.m. We're talking grunge rock, grunge history, Kurt Cobain, Nirvana history, Kurt Cobain murder conspiracy series. And then I have the Zodiac panel on Jerome's channel, The French Wrecking Crew, on Monday. Gaz and I coming back next week. Apocalypse Now, final cut from the PXF Classics backlog. And then we're going to see The Crow 2023, if that's something you're excited about. And then Terminator Year Zero. So that's the current schedule. Yeah. You guys can go crazy in the chat.
Yeah, Fear was awesome.
Go watch Ninja Turtles. Fun boy.
Yeah, I've just dealt with that. Fans, as always, drop your recommendations for shows, series, movies, even documentaries. Ross is the true crime guy, but we are also big into, alternative history, ancient history, possible thoughts on, say, future tech, things that could happen, like humanity going out in the stars. I know I'm going super nerdy here, but I'm trying to give you a base of where you can put suggestions for us to look at. If it doesn't fit here, we can do it over at PXM, and we can take a look. I know Slip, you're awesome with the recommendations. You drop them. I know some of the others have.
Yeah, we're still writing them down, bro.
Yeah, to the metalheads and to Epic, we used to heavily do music interviews way back before YouTube and on the PXM channel. If it's something particularly, if someone's got a favorite soundtrack or a score from a movie they would like us to look at, we could do something on there as well. The music kind of stuff, I was going to say, I did say to Epic we could do that. We kind of moved away from that a lot. But if there's something you particularly want us to look at, even something in hip hop or brutal death or whatever, or grunge even, then me and Ross can go and have a look at that and think, right, how can we do this then? So
yeah, mostly when we're talking music, we're talking, as Gaz said, we're talking it in terms of film, like score, things like we did with The Crow. Watch our Crow 1994 review. Yeah, this is a great question, Slipknot. I have no idea if my personal guess that the studio was probably intending to use that, because studios really are that dumb. I mean, look at Borderlands. You know how much money that movie cost? They're probably going to lose $100 million on Borderlands. So.
Go chillax, man. Oh, sorry, bro.
Oh, good. I think when they had that backlash, they obviously changed it. Or like you said, it could be like they put it out there to create interest, but I don't know if studios are that smart. They typically don't, other than like Reynolds originally leaking the Deadpool footage, the Deadpool 1 footage. They don't really do things that smart that often. As far as, I've never played any of the Fear games. I don't know if you have, Gaz. I played a lot of Half-Life, a lot of Unreal, a lot of Serious Sam, Duke Nukem, but I was always more like Half-Life and Unreal. But I'll check out Fear. I heard they're sick.
It's total sick. The combat's good. The gun mechanics, okay, they're a bit dated now, but had that good psychological tension as well. That's another series that's been rumored that they were going to do a movie on for so long, or give us a new Fear game.
We didn't mention the Doom movie.
Upstream yeah.
With Dwayne Johnson.
Oh God.
I just said,
I forgot about that. I need to remember all that.
Like the only thing I can say, like the other way around, is like the Evil Dead games are really good, but that's a video game from a movie, not a movie from a video game. You know what I mean? So it's really tough to make the argument. Did you go to OEF Fest? That's probably for you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Obscene Extreme Fest. It is amazing. No, I didn't. Not this year. But it is a sick fest. It's really a fest full of everything that I used to play on the shows. That's pretty much it. So if you like total insane, no, you'll love it.
Insane in the Rembane. Me at Wall Street got Vanilla Ice on Saturday, so Gaz is he's not ready. Gaz is not ready for the Ninja rap. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go! Shout out to Ninja Turtles getting mentioned earlier.
I'm gonna message you on the night, man, and I'm gonna say is he as whack?
I'm gonna send you some video. I'm gonna say he's not gonna be whack at all. He's gonna crush it. I'm gonna send you some live action video. I'm gonna live stream it for you. I'm gonna live stream it.
I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna make me a fanboy.
If you even go within 10,000 miles of your phone during that event, you were getting a live stream. Ice, baby. At least he's in Ninja Turtles too. I mean, how could you guys hate on him? But mark my words, Ninja Turtles franchise gets that last Ronin R-rated movie long before Star Wars ever makes an R-rated movie. And I'm surprised Marvel even learned how to make one. So I think that's pretty much all we got. You guys can go crazy in the chat if you got final metal questions for Gaz. 2 more shows this weekend. Zodiac Files episodes 5 and 6 when I feel like it, and that's pretty much all I got for you guys.
I'm just gonna just fall off the chair, dying at all the
Iceman's goated.
Ice fanboys.
Iceman's goated.
I'm thinking of that story now. Was it Suge Knight that had him held up?
Yeah. That's how they started Death Row. I mean, you could credit Ice for being a catalyst for a major West Coast franchise. Now, he didn't make any of the good music himself, but he was an influence in it happening, so he was still instrumental in hip-hop history, you know what I mean? We don't even ever talk about music on the show, so it's pretty funny.
Mentally scarred now, man. I'm mentally scarred.
Gaz is dreading next weekend, and then he has The Crow coming out a week.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
You might have to get some therapy these next 2 weeks, Gaz. You got to run.
Dude, I'm going to have to listen to some LCOB now, just to get that out.
Just clear your mind.
I'm going to have to do some Rosillo. It's going to be done.
Purge your mind of anything that Rob Van Winkle ever said or did. I think that's it for the show, guys. This is the first time we've devolved into Vanilla Ice and Go Ninja Go rap at the end of one of our outros. But
I'm dead, man, I'm dead.
I just referenced it. How did we go from brutal death metal to Vanilla Ice that fast? This has got to be the only film show that's ever done that in lyrically in YouTube live history. That was crazy. This is supposed to be a Fallout interview. What the hell have you guys done? The PXF audience. This is what you guys get.
Opened it up tonight. If you got any questions, and it's just got totally sidetracked. I will own up to my partner. I got amped when he started name dropping all the bands and that, man. I was just
it's all good. If you had actually anything important for us to say about Fallout or the channel or Zodiac Files or PXF or the Charlie Elliott interview tomorrow, who has a 50,000 subscriber channel, leave it in the comments and we'll respond back to you then. As always, you can always hit me on Twitter, and I'm on crap to spam, insta spam. So that's basically where we're at. PXF Fallout Season 1 2024 out now. Walton Goggins, looking forward to Season 2. That's pretty much all we got, guys. Just tap us in the comments with reviews. Shout out to everybody who came through. Epic Freestyle King, Mr. JVS, Slipknot. I think that was most of the peeps who came through, and some other heads. So talking music, talking film. Tune in tomorrow for the PXF True Crime Kurt Cobain Conspiracy Files. Cobain Conspiracy Files Volume 1. It is a variety show.
Yeah, that was.
If you want to call what we just did variety, but yes, it's a word you can use to describe it.
Insanity.
Yeah, sad variety, sad reality variety. But yeah, that's where we're at. And then Gaz and I are coming in hot for Apocalypse Now Final Cut. If I've never mentioned it on the channel before, Apocalypse Now is my favorite movie of all time. Apocalypse Now is always number one on my list. Every single time. I've seen every version. I have multiple physical media versions. Apocalypse Now is my favorite movie of all time. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola, starring Martin Sheen and ensemble cast. Robert Duvall, you name it, Harrison Ford. Every legend ever is in Apocalypse Now. So next week, the greatest film of all time. Shout out to everybody who came through. Appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share. Click the join button for a membership. I've been posting more posts on there and more content on the most Dangerous Game film adaptation series I'm doing, as well as on my Patreon. You can go if you want to support us. You can go become a member on the Patreon. You become a free member on the Patreon. If I've never said that before, it's not something you need to pay for. Then there's 2 tiers if you feel like having more in your budget. When I say Apocalypse Now represents the war movie genre, well, we're gonna have to get to that question when we get to Apocalypse Now, because I mean I would, but also Apocalypse Now is technically not a war movie, right? So that'll all be part of my deconstruction breakdown next week. We're out, but Slipknot's always good. You know, every time you ask a question like that to be Slipknot, or hey Ross, what's your opinion on Blade Runner? There's a 2-hour show coming to answer that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't ask questions like that.
I'm just thinking already when we do the live later this year, we may have to just book the whole day for that. That's gonna be insane, man. Yeah,
it's gonna be massive. A 3.5 hour, epic. The same way Die Hard represents the action genre. We all love Die Hard. But I don't know. I would agree with either sentiment. Is Apocalypse Now a war movie? And then I'm pretty sure I could give you a stronger action movie than Die Hard. But we can cover that when we get to that stuff on. I don't know. I mean, we could just say favorite 80s action movie, favorite 90s action movie. I mean, the list is quite a long one. Like, does Die Hard represent action more than Terminator 2 Judgment Day? You guys tell me. I guess T2 Judgment Day could be more sci-fi, right? All right, boys. That is it. Any final thoughts, guys? Go subscribe to Mosh Shinobi. The link will be below in the description.
Just thanks to everybody who came through. We genuinely do appreciate it. I love the interaction you have with us, the questions you ask. I mean, okay, yes, we did get off topic tonight, which but really do appreciate the recommendations. I love your show. Shout out to Fire Pixie as well. And yeah, it just again.
Thank you, Slip.
Thanks everybody for coming through, and
shout out to all the members.
Shout out to all the members. Don't forget to subscribe to all the PXM channels: Planet X Films, Mosh Shinobi. The show's going on here tomorrow. Ross has posted the weekend schedule in the community tab, so it'll be here with you tomorrow. On Monday, I'm about to cough from delayed laughter again. So.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
We're out. We stayed super on topic because this is the content you guys love. Big shows coming up, the PXF backlog, the The Zodiac Ghost, the movie series, the Most Dangerous Game adaptations. It's all coming soon, as well as Kurosawa and the Kurosawa versus the Westerns retrospectives. So tons of shows planned. Just like, sub, share. Appreciate you guys coming through. Thank you all. Fallout Season 1 out now, Amazon Prime. Like, sub, share. We're out.
Definitely. Peace out.
Paradigm Review Show.